Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of 5 with Frase. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Now, this one's a bit closer to home for me. I am buzzing to welcome a very, very good friend of mine. What can I say about this man? He is a property developer / investor. Wasn't always, so that story is something that I'm very proud of, and I'm sure he is too. He's also a semi-professional footballer, Edgar Davids model, and I'm sure there's a lot more I'm missing. So without further ado, I am introducing Daly, the property guy.
Thank you for having me on Frase. I'm really excited to be here. I think, it's amazing what you're doing, so I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, brother. Did I miss anything in the intro?
I climbed Kilimanjaro this year.
You did.
And I used to play for Crystal Palace.
No.
Yeah, in case you didn't know.
You still got like some training kit. How old was you when you played for Palace?
I was from the age of 14 to about 18 and got released because of knee problems.
And you held on to the training kit that long?
Well, I did go back and coach in the academy for a little bit, so some of the training kit is actually newer stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no one really knows that.
You wear it with pride, I respect it.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But yeah, no, thank you for coming on. The show starts with some icebreakers. How are you feeling? You ready to jump straight in?
I feel ready. I've had a bag of sweets, so I'm good to go.
Yeah? Okay, so first question is, what is the most random thing you have ever Googled? And this actually comes from a man that didn't realize, like, when you open up your iPhone, like, it is Google. So he searches Google to get onto Google. I have to tell people.
Yeah, I'm a bit old school. Because I didn't know that was Google, but it is. Well, it would probably be Google then. That would be up there.
That's the first thing, yeah.
Yeah. And the most random thing I've ever Googled, I think I'd Google anything really. Like if I'm feeling a funny way, I might Google why do I feel like this, or no, do you know what's actually an interesting one? I injured my ankle the other day, and you Google your symptoms and you try and like find out what's wrong. Yeah.
Missed it.
I worked out I had a broken leg.
Like, what symptoms weren't matching up in the first place for it to call a broken leg?
I thought I heard a crack when I done it. Yeah, honestly, I thought I did. And obviously, when you're Googling, you try and give a bit more information as to what's happened. And so obviously I said, my ankle's gone big. I heard a crack. And basically, I think there's like two bones. I should know this really. The two bones, your tibia and your fibia. And I thought I broke one of them. And I was kind of like, oh gosh, I'm out for a while. And then went to the doctor and I just sprained my ankle.
Oh.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Yeah. Google diagnosis is like, it gets everyone, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was worse because it was probably about 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep with it. And I was Googling and like Mrs. asked me, what am I doing? And obviously, I was like, I'm researching my leg. You know what I mean? And yeah, funny stuff.
I didn't sleep properly that night.
No, my ankle was hurting. So, yeah.
I can't lie, yeah. One time, I done a blood test at the doctor, yeah. And I thought it was going to be all cool.
Yeah.
And then they called me in it and they were like, we're going to need you to come in and see the GP.
Serious?
I just jumped on Google. Bear in mind, I weren't even sick. I weren't even ill. I thought I was fine. Like, I've jumped on Google and I'm typing in symptoms that I don't have. Like, you know when you start like, things are getting worse in your mind. Like, sleeplessness. Like,
you start asking yourself, am I sleepless? Well, I'm awake, so I guess.
Google diagnosed me with a madness. I've gone in, and they're like, yeah, do you take like vitamin D something? And I was like, yeah. They're like, you should probably stop that. I was like, that it? Is it? She's like, yeah, long term it can cause you health problems. I was like, well, it caused me health problems last night. I thought I was dead. I just gotta stop taking Barocca. Could have just said that over the phone. I would have just stopped. I had a sleepless night the night before. So Google diagnosis can really grab you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So question number 2.
Yeah.
Craziest food combo, like you put two things together that shouldn't really go together, but you do it and you like it.
Craziest food combo. I don't think I'm too outside the box when it comes to like food and that. I know I make a wicked stir fry. You know I make a wicked stir fry. Good at, was it cauliflower wings? They were nice.
I want to know about a medley, a fusion.
I'm trying to think.
So like chips and milkshake, but that's a classic. No one can go against.
I don't really like experiment that far. You know, I think when I was younger, I used to have like a bacon and jam sandwich.
What?
Yeah, it's not that bad though. Bacon and jam.
Is it good?
It's quite. I mean, would I go for it now? Probably not. But like, I reckon if someone gave it to me, I wouldn't complain. You know,
You'd eat it.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Talk me through how you discovered the bacon and jam combo.
It must have been me and my brother doing some, or we must have made some bacon, really, innit? And then found the jam. That's how
So
it goes.
you know what?
Yeah, that's how like good things are formed sometimes. You know, it's kind of like they're breakfast ingredients, so you can imagine. You know, they're on the table.
Yeah.
So it's not. That's what I mean. It's not too far
Yeah.
outside the box. Like chips and ice cream is a bit. I guess it comes in a McDonald's meal, but like, yeah, I guess they could kind of go together. Bacon and jam. They do anyway. So. Yeah, what was yours, by the way?
The weirdest combo. You know, I never prepare for them to come back. I'm trying to think. What would mine be? Weirdest combo. I was like a chicken nugget kid. We spoke about this. Like, I would pull a sickie when I went to my friend's house. I'll never forget that. I was fine, healthy, no problems. Lasagna got served up. I said, I feel sick. I said, I don't think I can eat that.
It's just not even that bad.
No, but I was chips
full on.
and turkey dinosaurs, smiley face chips. Don't even put ketchup on my plate for years.
God,
so in terms of like mixing things, it wasn't really my bag. I think chips and milkshake is probably as far as it goes.
No, I don't.
For me, crisps in the sandwich, I like that texture.
Yeah,
It's not a great answer for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, fair play.
Right. Final icebreaker. I feel like you're warming up. It's good. Don't hurt yourself.
Go on.
What is the... I've got on this one. I don't even know if I can... If you ask it back to me, my answer came straight to me.
So now I have to ask it back, really, innit? You killed yourself.
So, what is like the craziest lie, basically, you believed as a child, like a myth? Like, you thought you was sure it was a fact, and then, you got it?
I think there's a few like quite normal ones, you know, like Santa Claus. My mum went through quite a lot of effort. Like she would put flour, ice and sugar by the chimney and the fireplace, and then like put boots in it. Yeah, and then obviously like the mince pie, leave it for Rudolph and that. And I sure one time I woke up and I thought I saw Santa Claus's like legs or something. I think I was me and my brother share a room, we were sleeping on the floor because excited, and I must have been dreaming, but I thought I saw like Santa Claus walk past. But that's quite an obvious. That's quite an easy sell for a kid. I think no one even lied to me about it, but I used to think that like, you know, Arsene Wenger, I used to think that like he was named, or Arsenal was named after him. And then there was a few others. There's Arsene Wenger, you know, Gerard Houllier, the Liverpool manager, and obviously Steven Gerrard. I thought that like people had to be like kind of connected. I think there was another, but then people like Mourinho started coming in, and I was just like, well,
what's the connection?
Yeah. And so I think I obviously found out a bit later on in life that they just employed people by their clubs. So I did strongly believe Arsene Wenger, Arsenal was like must have been in the blood or something. But yeah, what was your one? I think I asked you.
So basically, my mum was very explicit when she told me that if you eat, you don't go in water for like an hour or it's a definite cramps thing, yeah? And like, I don't know if you ever read these books. Did you ever read them like, they're called Lemony Snicket books?
Don't think so.
Anyway, like, I think in that book, like if they ate and go in water and like some animals like chase you or something. So I was convinced that, yeah, you eat, you go in water, it's a madness. So I would fully eat and then like not go in the bath. Like, I literally watched the clock and not go in the bath until I tried it one time. I realised like, one, you can't drown in the bath, and two, no cramp happened. But I'm sure if you was like proper swimming, then something would happen. But yeah, like man fully believed like if your body touch water, straight cramps.
What, your whole body?
Yeah, just cramp up.
Sorry.
Like, my mum was mad serious when she told me. I don't think she necessarily meant the bath, but my mind
I think that's like a, don't eat before you swim kind of like.
I thought it was like water.
Is it? Just all water?
All water.
Yeah, she lied to you, man. I'm sorry.
I was living her life for a little while.
Fair play. How old was you when you...
21. I'm joking.
Oh, that's good.
Right. Daily. We're at the end of the icebreakers. How you feeling?
No,
Ready?
I feel good, man. Yeah,
feel good?
Yeah, good. Nice and loose, ready to rock and roll.
Good. So, not sure if you know, but 5 questions.
Yep.
And then I'll try to bounce off of you if I need to. But yeah, now that you're warm, we're ready to go.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right. So question 1, it's quite a nice one, I think. It's one of my favorites. You can relive any 24 hours from your past exactly as it happened without changing a thing. Talk to me about that day and why you choose it.
That is a good question. Good question. I think, if I'm being really honest on it, I think that in life, 24 hours is quite a long period of time. It's long and it can be considered as short, but there's such a time for like roller coaster things to happen. So in what I do at the moment, where a property investor developer, you can get a wicked bit of news and it can be the best bit of news that you've been aiming for the last 12 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And then you get another email and it's like the worst thing. And so your days can go like that. And I think it's quite like that. So for me to pick a specific 24 hours would be difficult. But what I do kind of hold on to quite a bit is like the moments and moments in life and moments when certain things happen and they kind of make a bit of an imprint on you. So on a personal level, what would be my 24 hours that I could relive? I think there's some amazing achieving moments that I've had in life. I think one being signing for Crystal Palace when I was younger. Obviously because that's a bit of an achievement, but I think more so it kind of felt a bit like it was like me and my mum at it together because obviously she took me to football all the time, etc. I think she would even like play football with us at times and stuff, which was funny. So that was almost like we've achieved this thing and it was quite a nice moment. So that sort of like moment within that day would have been one thing. I think if I was to think about other things, I think in my life I've done some quite nice things, some quite high achieving things that maybe I don't speak of enough. But if I'm being honest, the moments for me that sort of really stand out are not necessarily, mass achievements, whether it's like buying houses or selling houses or playing football, as we mentioned earlier, climbing mountains, stuff like that. I think more so the things that I value is like the time that I have with like friends and family. And I think if there's one particular day that I look back on and I quite cherish quite a lot of, I remember it was my grandmother's birthday. I think it was her, I can't remember how old she was, to be honest with you. She must have been 80 something, maybe 83, I'm going to guess.
Good age.
Yeah, wicked age, done well. And I remember that, I think she come round for dinner. Our birthdays are quite close, so hers is on the 3rd and mine is on the 6th of September. So presents, if you want to come to the next party, anything like that. But we'd always like celebrate together. So in the lead up to it, I'd be like, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, Grandma? What do you want to do? And I think we ended up having dinner just at the house as a nice chill family thing. And I remember I was getting loads of phone calls to come out that evening and I like rejected it. I said, look, I'm just going to stay and chill because it's nice. And I think shortly after that, a few months, maybe even a few weeks after that, she passed away. So it was like quite a nice like day to have in that. Number one, we're celebrating like our birthdays together. Number two, in that was like our last birthday that we celebrated together. And number three, in that I had like all these other things that I could have been going out and doing, but I said, which was not unlike me, I would say, but I'd like to, like anyone else, like to go out in the evening and stuff. But I said, no, I'm just going to chill. And obviously, even in that moment, I didn't even have the hindsight to look back and say, no, stay. Like I just made that conscious decision by myself that I just wanted to chill with my grandma and be there. So that was quite a nice time. I think I would probably go back and relive that time again. That was quite fun.
Interesting that you'd usually be out in the evening. Do you think like it happened for it must happen for a reason?
What, that I was in?
You chose. Well, like I'm just listening to it, and it's like you chose to stay in. You usually go out and celebrate with your mates, and then that was the last one that you spent together.
I think there's a number of things. I think one was, I know I had a bigger party. This is around the time when I was 25.
Multiple birthday
Oh God,
parties.
yeah. I don't actually do that many. I've had 4. But anyway, so I remember it was my 25th, and I had a big party with like, we played football, friends, family. My grandma was there still, etc. But we had like the more intimate one with like a closer family, like the immediate family, pretty much. And I think I just decided that I wanted to stay in. I think maybe it was God telling me to, cherish these moments and use the most amount of time that you can with your grandma, which is quite nice. So yeah, I think that moment would be the one for me. I think.
Sounds like a very nice moment.
Yeah, it was, man. Quite deep, isn't it?
Yeah. I like that answer.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
So, question 2: you're allowed to go back to any one moment in your life and tell a younger Daily one thing and one thing only. Where do you go, and what do you say?
There's only one answer.
I know what you want to do.
Yeah, 100%. Anyone else who sits in this chair and tells you otherwise is lying. I'll tell you, listen, I'm going back and I'm buying Bitcoin, 100%. Bare Bitcoin, all of it. And I'm a trillionaire. That's my honest answer. But
I mean, if that's where you want, where do you go to in your life? Just out of curiosity, like what point do you pick just where Bitcoin's at low value?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I ain't got a Scooby-Doo, but listen, if you're going to give me that amount of hindsight and that amount of like, I know what's going to happen, that's what I'll do. But no, I think besides Bitcoin, which I definitely would do, I think, what things would I go back and tell myself? What moment would I go back and what advice?
Where would you? Is there a moment in your life you'd go back to and you needed a bit of advice?
Again, in honesty, I think that there would be like loads of moments, because even I can think of some advice I would have given myself at the start of this year. I think I climbed Kilimanjaro. I kind of thought it was going to be just a quick up and down, but it definitely wasn't. Like, you're camping in a tent for 6 days, and I somehow thought that there was going to be like almost like mini chalets and stuff. So, I would have bought a bit more equipment with me, basically. But in terms of like actual advice that I would really want to pass on to my younger self going forward, I think that there's so many moments, but I think the one thing for me personally that stands out is I would have believed in myself a lot more. And I know it sounds really cliche, and people are always going to say, like, now I kind of have this kind of energy within myself where I say that I can actually achieve anything. And that's not being arrogant. That's not being big-headed. That's not thinking I'm the best person on the planet. That's just me believing in me. And I think that's come from times when I've done stuff and I failed, and I've tried again. I've done stuff and I failed, and I've tried again. And even with Crystal Palace, I think when I signed for them, I'd gone on trials at Chelsea, Fulham, Millwall, Charlton, I believe. I think I even went on the trial at Crystal Palace beforehand, and obviously got no's. And when I went again and had another trial, I think I signed for Crystal Palace. I had all these other clubs wanting me to sign, clubs that I've been at before, but I chose Crystal Palace. So I think if I could go back, my younger self, I would say, look, believe in yourself, because you can do anything. Mistakes are absolutely fine. Like, they are a way to learn. I think there's a saying that says, like, the people that win the most are the people that just make the most mistakes and keep going again and again. And so I think that I shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes. And lastly, I think, we've had conversations about sort of turning 30 and what it feels like as a person. And I think within myself, and I think loads of younger people, especially in London, in and around London, like, when you're young, you try to conform a little bit. And I know I definitely did. I tried to conform. I tried to fit in, maybe in places I didn't fit in, maybe doing things that I didn't really want to do myself because I know the boys are doing it, or because it's cool at the time, or because I think it's cool. I think that's what a person of my age should be doing. But I think innately, I know who I am and sort of like the type of person I am. And I think I would have advised myself to be that person in everything that I do, regardless of the setting that I'm in, regardless of who I'm around. So yeah, I think believe in myself, be me, and just, mistakes are absolutely fine. That's what's gonna serve me and make me a better person.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's very interesting for me to hear you talk about that is obviously we kind of met later on in life when I feel like that was definitely your energy and aura, which like I've loved being around. However, like what I'm curious to know a little bit about is if there was a specific time where you can remember where you needed to hear that the most.
Specific time. I think there's probably been a few times, I think a real like sort of pivotal changing moments in life. I think probably a few in that.
When you had the braids. Let's go back to when you had the braids.
No, they're gone. They're gone. That person is gone now. No, I think real pivotal moments. I think when I was much younger, I think I got quite humbled. My stepdad at the time, he got diagnosed with cancer. So that was quite that was like my first ever like actual life thing that hit me and didn't really know how to deal with it in the best way. And I just kind of went a bit inside myself. And I remember I had a PT teacher who was wicked. Mr. Bromley, still chat to him now.
Shout out to the PE teachers out there.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, no, he was an absolute legend. I just used to go and chill with him at like lunchtime and stuff. Like literally every lunchtime, just go chill in the office. We say and just chat about football, eat sweets, he'd cook us out, and then we'd go and get lunch. And yeah, it was amazing. But I remember just going into the office one time and he was like, what's going on? Just like normal. I think I just started crying. Yeah, it was just mad. Like, I literally just started crying, started talking about it. And he's like, okay. And the worst thing is, I don't even think that, I know that he would have done something from his end. Like, I don't know, talk to teachers and you say something or whatever. But like, didn't really do anything amazing that changed within, like, it's not like he, I don't know what he could do any different. Like, it's not like he come and knock for me at tutor and like, oh, you good? Like, we just spoke and it was nice to do that. So that was quite a nice thing. Other pivotal times, I think, I've got my eldest brother's autistic. So I think growing up with an eldest brother who's autistic comes with so many different challenges and so many like interesting sort of facets to life that for me would be like so almost unusual, but to the normal person, it's just like a normal part of life. So when I say about be myself, I mean, me and Luke, his name is, when Luke comes out with me and stuff, Luke is so funny and so crazy. He does some, we've been out with him together, he does some mad
I was going to say, you're telling me I'm there. Luke's
exactly,
my guy.
Exactly. So I think if I could advise myself again going younger, just say, Nathan, just be yourself in the same way Luke is going to be himself. So if he's going to do something mad, that's just Luke. Like, that's just how it is, you know? Like, I don't need to try and hide or be ashamed of that at all because, you know, I am me and how I behave is how I behave. Luke is Luke, how he behaves is how he behaves. So I think those are the kind of times that where the advice would lend itself, if you know what I mean.
No, and I've got a really nice story actually to follow up on proof that you live by that now. We actually went to Nandos, me, you and Luke. You remember this time? Yeah. And everyone had finished their food apart from me and my chicken wings were there. And Luke decided he wanted some chicken wings.
I did tell you.
And I looked to you for some support. And you just let it happen. And I was hungry as well, but nah. Luke's my guy, so he can have one of my wings.
Yeah, I think he had about 4.
Yeah, I think he had a few. I think he had a few still.
Yeah.
But no, I can definitely get that. And I think it comes across in watching you with him now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just like, from my part as being his brother, we go out a lot more. We just do pretty much normal things. He's a normal person. He's going to want to do normal things. So we come to football the other day. That was quite fun, sitting on the bench. But yeah, I think for me, it was just when I was much, much, much younger, I think it was almost played in my mind a little bit more than anything that, you know, I've got an autistic brother. We can't do certain things. But then when you boil it down, he's just a person, isn't he? He wants to do the same things that I want to do. So I think me growing up now and trying to sort of like not only be myself and be myself with everyone around me, like just understanding that, you know, Luke's going to enjoy normal things as well. I go to the pub every now and again and Luke can come with me. And, you know, it's just fun things like that, I think.
Thanks. So question 3 now. It's kind of interesting for me. I'm looking forward to your answer on this because although me and you spend like a massive amount of time together,
do.
we do. We do. For those that don't know, we actually like lived together for a little while. That was good. Yeah,
it's good fun. Play for the same team?
Play for the same team multiple times.
Yeah.
So yeah, although we spend like a lot of time together, I feel we're very similar in a lot of ways, but very different.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this one. So this one's about like sort of power and strength. What I kind of are very open about are those two words there have sort of held me back a lot, I think, in my journey. And it's only now like I'm really starting to look at them and what they truly mean to me. So what I want to know is, what do those two words mean to you now? And like, can you give an example of when you've showed them?
Yeah, I think, you know what's funny? I think if you was to rewind time and ask me this same question, sort of like going backwards within sort of like 5-year increments, you'd get a completely different answer.
Yeah, of course.
Completely.
This is my mind's going to book club now.
Oh, is it?
Our book club, yeah, because that was like a big turning point.
Yeah.
These words
nice.
for me.
That was nice, I think. So if it was to rewind, I think power and strength for me would have been the sort of like the quite Neanderthal meanings of them, if I'm completely honest. Strong, as in physically strong, powerful, show no emotions, never be hurt, never be down, just always alpha, no matter what happens. Like, my house burns down, I'm fine, I'm gonna sleep underneath a tree. Do you know what I mean? Nothing is getting me down, no matter what. And I think, especially, if I'm really honest, I think especially for a lot of young black men, that is what power and strength is, because a lot of the time we would have grown up, I predominantly grew up within a single parent household. My mum is the most powerful, most strong woman I know in the world. She raised 3 boys, 1 who's autistic, my middle brother who's had certain health complications, and me who's just absolutely perfect. So, you know, she's done absolutely amazing at that. So, and she will be the first to say that, you know, she didn't necessarily show so much emotion, but she got a bit better at it now. We all have, to be fair. So much younger, I think power and strength would have been strong, brute, no emotion, just crack on with everything. Nothing is the problem, nothing is wrong. And I think coming forwards now, to where I am in life now, I think almost I've had to sort of like redefine what that means to me, because going around being strong and nothing hurts me, and I'm such a big strong man, no one can affect me, that doesn't do any good for, I think, relationships. I don't think it does any good for me personally. When I say that, I'm, you know, going back to some of the previous questions, I want to be my true self. And I don't think that does any good for the people around me. Now, don't get me wrong, there's going to be times when you need to be able to strip emotion away from something. Like, I think there's a good example. I think I was reading a book or listening to a podcast. Someone was saying, you know, in war, if me and you go to war right now and you get shot in the head, for example, yeah, I know it's quite extreme, but going there. I've not really got the time to drop my weapon.
No, big man. Drop the weapons, bro. Pick me up. Take my body home. I said, you're gonna leave me there.
But you see, then I'm gonna get shot. Do you know what I mean?
Big man, we go out together.
No,
you see, you're just gonna leave me on the floor.
Listen, what I'm saying is...
Stop the podcast now. Stop the... Hey, you're gonna leave me on the floor.
There are times when you have to, in order to make good decisions, strip emotion away. And that's at the most extreme level. Because
episode 5 of 5withFraze, it's been ended early.
Honestly, you just that Trump. You couldn't do president. I could be president. You see it? But
if that means leaving your boy dead on the floor, yes, you're right. I can't do it.
We've gone extreme. But like, at times, it's appropriate to strip away emotion.
No, I hear you.
So that you can make better decisions. Because I think we can all agree that, you know, we don't make our best decisions when we're hyper emotional.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's more what I'm trying to say. But then after we've dealt with the situation in hand, we need to then make a better decision. And I think that at those times, it's important that we make a decision considering all things, not just, I'm a man, but things like, okay, how am I feeling about this? How's the other person going to feel about this? You have to think quite, I think it's introspectively about, you know, how you respond to situations and what that means to everyone else. And ultimately, if I'm going to sit here and say that, you know, some of the best moments are when I'm with my friends and my family because I value my relationships, then the decisions that I make need to add value to my relationships. And I don't think that me having this idea of power being power, where power now can be something like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to take on board what you're saying, even if it doesn't necessarily agree 100% with what I'm saying, but I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to apply it to my thinking, and then I'll respond in an appropriate way. Power might mean me sitting down with you and telling you that, you know what, I'm not actually on top of the world every single day, 365 days a year. You know, something has happened and I'm feeling this way about it. And that's powerful for me to open up and be vulnerable to you and say, you know, this is how I'm feeling. Because if I was to hide that from me, if I was to hide that true feeling from you, then it's just going to eat me up. And I think that, you know, the person that I'm then presenting to you is not even my true self. And again, going back to the advice, I said, you know, I want to be myself. I don't want to come and be someone else to you, because ultimately, if I come and I pretend to be powerful and blah, 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 you don't even get to know the real me. You're getting to know this facade that I'm putting on that is not Nathan Daly. That is someone else who I've like stuffed up the courage before I walked in and said, yeah, all right, come on then, let's go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I think, yeah, power can be, I think it comes in so many different forms, and, you know, it can be in making peace, it can be in forgiveness, it can be in understanding. So yeah, I think there's power in so many different ways. It's not necessarily just how hard can you hit, how much hits can you take. It's more so, I think, being powerful and being yourself, for me anyway.
I think you've touched on something that we spend a lot of time talking about, and when we're driving to football, when I'm calling you, you don't call me. When we was on the sofa, we won't talk about that, but where we used to live on the sofa, old man life, not leave the house, but a lot of like meaningful conversations we had. Like, is there an example? Like, is there a time that comes to mind where you're like, I wanted to be, but no, in fact, I was that word vulnerable, and I showed power and strength in this way. Is there a time that comes to mind?
Do you know what? I think from the way in which I lived my life, I think when I was much younger, last year, I would always try to appear powerful and strong and no emotion. So I think I could pick so many different scenarios where I've said, do you know what, this is actually an issue, or I want to talk about this. There'll be times within, you know, my relationship where my missus might do something that annoys me. And I think we've spoken on this, where, like, you know, as men in a relationship, you think, if I keep this in, I'm doing you a favor by not telling you what you've done that's pissed me off. When really and truly, if you actually think about it, me not telling you what has pissed me off or what's annoyed me, it might be something really minute, like might leave a dressing gown on the floor or on the bed, and it annoys me. But if I don't tell you that, it's not doing you a favor. All it's doing is harboring resentment within me. And if I tell you, I might just think, I'm being this moany old man who, okay, let me just tell her. So then I tell her, and then it's down to her to say, okay, thanks for telling me. I'll hang up the dressing gown or whatever it is. And so that gives then the opportunity for my partner to be able to, you know, respond in a positive way and stuff. But I think what is quite important, and what some of the stuff, again, that we've spoken about, is like, you know, number one, you have to be able to receive that from someone, and someone has to be able to receive that from you as well. And I think a lot of the time that's where, like, you know, breakdowns happen when either, you know, talking and communicating is literally a two-way street. You can't talk to someone and they not receive it, and then, or which way it doesn't go. So you have to be able to do that in your relationship. And I think it takes a level of vulnerability to do that. I think any key moments for me that I've had to do it, do you know what? I find loads of little times like that challenging. Loads. Even at work, something will happen and I feel like, oh God, I've got to let this person down. I've got to tell this person something, you know. And I think what's helped me do it is, I think, if you look at it as sort of like a timeline, I've got to tell someone something, and you know, you procrastinate and you don't do it, you stall. And I think to myself, Nathan, you're going to tell them. So you might as well just tell them now and just get it done. Like, swallow the bitter pill, whatever happens. If they don't like you, then they don't like you, which is no problem. But more often than not, especially within friends and family and stuff, if I'm telling them, the number one, they're seeing the real me. And if they do like me after that, then guess what? They actually like the real me.
Real me, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's quite a nice, liberating sort of like feeling for me to have where, you know, I'm honest with people and I show up and be myself. And if they still like me, I can kind of walk away and be like, right, you lot are actually mad. You still like me. All right, cool. This is good. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, just loads of little sort of like mini challenges that I would go through my mind. And
Thanks for sharing.
no worries.
Right, question number 4 now. And you've kind of already touched on like loads of things that I feel like could fit into this category. But I want to know about one particular time of real challenge, a real difficult, dark moment for you, and what that was like for you, and most importantly, how did you overcome that challenge?
I think I've had loads of challenges in life, loads, just like anybody else.
Everyone,
Just like anyone else.
I was wondering if there was one that like really stands out for you, and it's like,
I would probably say the one that really quite hit me would have been the passing of my grandma. Simply because it was the first time that something like that had happened in my life. So it's happened when I was about 25, so 6 years ago now. Why was that so hard? Again, because the first time it kind of happened. She was very old, so she had a good life. You know, she was going to die at some point. But I think it happened sort of like across the course of about a week and a half, where she just felt ill and then got quite ill, and then obviously passed. And this is the first time I didn't really know how to deal with it. And again, me being the type of person that I was back then, I just kind of went into a bit of a shell. Didn't really do anything, just kind of done nothing really. And I think I had an operation at that time as well, so I wasn't very mobile. I had my knee operated on, so I was on like crutches and stuff. And I think what got me through it was friends, you know, friends more than anything. I remember one of my friends called me, was like, I go gym most days, try to go 6 a.m. He's like, obviously I haven't been for a while because I was like having a bit of a lull period. And he's like, oh, are you going to come back to the gym? And I was like, I kind of stalled in a bit. I was like, I don't know. He's like, look, I think you should just come back. Like, even if you just come in and just be in the gym, it's like nice to get around, get some kind of normality back to life. And so that was quite nice. We didn't necessarily talk so much. Like, it was just, you know, being around. And again, you know, if you go back to when Mr. Bromley just didn't really do anything, he didn't do anything spectacular. I'm talking about. Yeah, literally was just there. And I think sort of being there and being around people and knowing that people are reaching out to you because, you know, they care about you and stuff is quite nice. So that was probably the one moment I could probably think of that was like my, when I was at my lowest and people helped me out.
So talk to me about that low a little bit more. What did it look like apart from not going gym?
That sounds like not a bad low, innit? Just not going gym. Yeah, it sounds all right. No,
you didn't go gym today.
I went for a run. What was the low like? Sort of not answering the phone. People would call and message, and I kind of not really want to respond. Obviously, a long time ago, 6 years ago, but not really responding. Kind of just feeling a bit hopeless, kind of. A bit lost, kind of like almost like you just don't know what to do with the day, kind of thing. Because obviously you take a bit of time off work. I was employed at that time, and yeah, you just don't know what to do. You almost want the days to go quickly, kind of thing. Because not that you know time's gonna heal, but it's almost like the days are actually a bit depressing. You know, you wake up and it's like, okay, I've got to eat. All right, I'll eat. And then you almost just want to go back to sleep because you're like, this is just not how I enjoy my days at all. So yeah, just very, very unproductive. I felt unuseful to people. Didn't really feel like I could pick other people up because obviously other family members are suffering from the loss as well. So I just didn't really feel like I could help anyone because I felt a bit helpless myself.
And then apart from friends, anything else that sort of you remember making a real difference and helping you with all like feeling lost, feeling a bit down, feeling a bit depressed?
You know, I think friends is massive for me. Massive. Other than beyond that, I think within myself, I kind of thought, okay, my grandma's gone. How would she want me to like live? How would she, not necessarily what exactly she would want me to do, because I'm sure my grandma would, I don't know what she'd want me to do, to be honest, like what kind of job or something, but just like kind of knowing that my grandma would want me to be a nice person. So I kind of thought to myself, look, yes, she's gone, but try and think about all the stuff that, you know, she taught me like very nice, basic things of being a nice person, you know, standing up for yourself, all this kind of stuff. And so I thought, you know, that's kind of how I'm going to try and live. I don't want to have the years that I had with her, 25 years, and then her pass, and then I'm just like a completely different person. I like to think that she was quite proud of me. She was always quite encouraging. And so I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm going to try and, you know, make her proud and live in a way that when she's looking down on me in heaven, she'll be like, yes, that's my grandson. Look at him go. That's kind of the thought process I went through a bit.
And I think that she's definitely looking down on you and doing exactly that. Like, you've been smashing it.
I hope so. Just like when I was doing my run today, she kept me going.
Right, we're at the final question. And I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've shared so far. It's been wicked. It's been sick having you on.
Nice. I like talking about this kind of stuff, you know, because a lot of the time people will sort of ask me about like property, and I'm like, I know a lot about property. I'm quite good at it. But there's like a man behind the property guy, you know.
And now we're getting to know him.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of know him already, but everyone else is getting to know you.
Scary, scary stuff.
Last question is sort of your biggest sort of pivot, change, U-turn moment, like something that completely, like a eureka moment that completely changed the way you thought about something. Like, what was that moment and what did it change?
I would say, again, I feel like life is made up of so many like little moments.
Pick one.
God, man, God. One. Okay, I'm gonna pick one, but it's gonna be molded by two. All right, we're breaking the rules. Because I feel like one moment I've spoken about so much, and yes, it was pivotal.
You're not going to talk about Crystal Palace again, are you?
No, I was going to talk about when I climbed the second highest mountain in the world. No, sorry, the tallest single mountain in the world. Yeah. What would I say? So I'll touch on this one very quickly because I've touched on it before, but of the moment where my grandma's birthday and we had that time together, I think, you know, I could have gone out and seen my friends. I could have gone out and worked. I could have gone out and gone to the gym. I could have done anything, like absolutely anything. I think I could have gone out and worked that evening, sorry. And, you know, young man, money. I think I'd like turned down the money to stay with my grandma. And I think that kind of shaped me a little bit to say that, you know, money is one thing. You can be, as I said, some of my proudest moments, I've bought houses, I've climbed tallest mountain, I've gone self-employed, I've played professionally, I've played semi-professionally, I've got promoted. I feel like I've done quite a lot of half-decent things, quite a lot of very decent. But I left early. Do you not want to talk about that bit, man? What's wrong with you, man?
All right, sorry, you haven't been relegated.
No, I did not. So, but them things for me are literally just things. Like, I don't really value things so much. I enjoy doing nice things. I enjoy having nice things to an extent. But I think the value for me comes from relationships. And I think in that time, it taught me that, you know, you have to value your relationships because you don't know how long they're going to last. You don't know someone's here today, gone tomorrow, etc. So in that, I kind of realized that, you know, this material stuff is not the be all and end all of life. And if sort of something interesting, someone said 20 years from now, if someone was to say they could make you as healthy as you are right now, and you have to give them all your worldly possessions, you would give them. And I think that's exactly the same for me and how I try to live my life. So in saying that, I value my relationship so much more after that period of time. And then to sort of like trampoline from that one into kind of a new one, I would say that, your relationships and how you are as a person is so important. I think if I'm being dead honest, the thing that kind of taught me this a lot is being in a relationship, because it is so humbling. It's almost like new, because I'm seeing sides of myself that I've never seen before. and it's scary, but it's fun and it's interesting. And having someone that you can, still be strong to, because there's times when you have to be physically strong. There's times when we have to deal with things. There's times when I have to become vulnerable and say something that, maybe this has annoyed me, or whatever level of vulnerability I'm going to go for. There's times when she'll tell me stuff and I want to be so mad and angry, but then, I have to value this relationship still, and I have to be honest in it, and I have to be myself and appreciate that the person that she's presenting to me is herself. So, I think that's an experience that I'm still going through that has taught me quite a lot to be, it taught me the importance of showing up as myself rather than just this guy or this bravado that I might put on.
Do you know what? Because you've smashed it, I'll allow you to have 2 in it.
That's all right, eh? That's all right. That was good. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Right, we're almost at the end.
I know, man. It's been good. It's
been emotional.
I know, man.
Thank you for coming out.
I know. Well, No, I've enjoyed it. No, in all honesty, I've really enjoyed it. As I said, like, a lot of the time, people on podcasts, they talk about work, money, I don't know what it was, like, with this, like, I don't want to say nonsense stuff, but like, people come on and talk about, oh, if your man did this and if your girl did that, and I feel like it's a bit nonsense. Like, a bit of me is like, come on, guys, we're getting older now. Let's kind of talk about some proper stuff. But yeah, it's nice to see someone doing something where people can come out and sort of talk open and honest and be challenged with their own. Like, some of the questions that you've asked me have been quite challenging for me even. And I think to myself, oh, I've got to talk about that. Okay, cool, it's good. So, and I think it's like paving a way for people to live in their true self, which is good.
Appreciate you.
Anytime, man, anytime.
So we end with a sign off.
Okay.
You get to leave the viewers. I don't know how many of them there are. My mum is definitely watching this. You know her quite well, did you?
Yeah, I know. I've got
your best mate.
Actually, yeah, she texted me yesterday.
Yeah. We'll go through that story another day. It's a conversation for another day, isn't it? But you get to leave the viewers with a sign off, something, a little bit of advice, a saying that could help make their day that 1% better.
1% better. I would say, again, I've got so many, man. You're limiting me, man. You're limiting me to 1. I've got there's about 4 bouncing around in my head. I would say that you can absolutely do anything. Just wherever your focus goes, your energy flows, and you can do anything. Just have to believe in yourself. It's kind of like 3 in 1, isn't it?
You're always cheating the system.
No, I'm not. But no, believe in yourself and you can do anything, basically. Honestly, I think we had this conversation the other day, coming back from football, I think, or going to football. And I was just saying that, like, I feel like you can just do anything in the world. Because if you look around you, I'm going to roll them all into one now. If you look around you, everything is like the creation of somebody. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you actually imagine that people go to the moon? Like, there's a spaceship that takes people to and some person just thought of that. Now, if some person can think of taking people in a piece of metal to the moon, why can't I do anything? Why can't I, like, smash my next property goals? Why can't I talk to random people? Why can't I, do you know what I mean? Why can't I have a vulnerable relationship or vulnerable conversation with someone? There's people going to the moon. Like, you can do anything. Anything. Just go out and do it.
Facts.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go.
That's what we're here doing today.
Most definitely.
And you found another way to get more than 1.
See, I can do anything. That's it.
You did. But no, thank you so much for coming out, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Honestly, Frase, what you did is wicked. So, yeah, anyway, I come to help out. I really appreciate it. Proud of you, man.
Thank you. Proud of you too, brother.
Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate it.